Welcome to day 10, shop management. So, today's lesson kind of connects to what we've been doing, but it's a different take. We've been looking at the customer experience and how the employee experience builds the customer experience. I really need you guys to start thinking like you're the owner, you're the manager. This is your shop. Who do you want to hire? Why do you want to hire them? What people do you need in your shop? How much are you going to pay them? These are all unbelievably important questions. Now, obviously, if you work for a company, Pep Boys, Mavis, Pacifico Ford, any company you work with is going to have established procedures, pay rates, different things like that. So that's going to set that up for you. You're not going to have to think about that too much. What do I mean by that? Well, I know when I was a service manager for STS, depending on what level I was hiring a tech in for, I had a range. So for an entry level tech, I could go between $7.50 an hour, minimum wage, and $9 an hour. And the reason why that range was there was because I had to watch a couple of things like productivity. Now, we've already talked about productivity. I'm going to make sure that in a cutout somewhere to the side of me, there's going to be the equation again that I'll put up and make sure is there so that you could see it. But basically, it's going to be hours turned divided by hours worked. And then that's going to give you hopefully a whole number and a decimal, and you'll multiply that by 100, and that'll give you a percentage. Okay. So when you're hiring an entry-level tech, you expect them to be less than 100%. But you're going to watch their productivity, and you're going to watch training that they do. You may not realize it now, but one of the biggest things that any supervisor is going to watch for you is your training. How much training are you out getting? Why are you out? Is this training that the job already offered, or maybe you're at an independent shop and they don't offer training, but you start getting credentials on your own. It might be ASEs, it might be Timken. I'm going to put a link for a Timken in here too. You can go in, make a free account, get some credentials through them. Autolite, spark plugs, they used to run it. All of these places that sell parts also usually offer different training stuff. AutoZone. Usually once, twice a year they come in and they run a class at night in the school building. Obviously this year it's a little crazy, but they almost always do a class on the 609 license, which is becoming massively more important as far as training and moving forward, because the rules are a little different with the new refrigerant. So we have all of that going on. They're going to watch how much training you're doing and what your productivity is. So the more credentials you have coming in and the higher your productivity is expected to be, the higher the pay scale. And that's, the pay scale is basically the normal between this number and this number that tech or writer or even a manager might get. Now, here's where people owning a business forget about it. Let's say you're making a business. Let's say you're figuring out all of the cost of the business. One of the biggest costs of the business that you have to include is the fact that you as an owner still have to take home a salary. What do I mean by that? Let's say your business made $200,000 income in the first year. Now that's just income. That means literally the money coming in the door. That's not profit. And see, that's a difference. And we're going to define that more another day, but quick definition is profit's what you have left after you pay the bills. And so a lot of owners or people who think about owning will approach it like, okay, as long as I go in and I pay the electricity, I pay the water, I pay my tax, then the bills are all paid. So whatever's left is the profit. And they assume one of two things. That means either they could take all that profit home, or, well, I'm going to put all that back into the business. Either one was going to leave you with a problem. On one hand, if you put all of the money back in the business, how do you eat? How do you pay for your home? On the other hand, if you take all that money home with you, then the chance of you ever growing your business, because the fact is, there's an old saying that is very true. It costs money to make money. You have to upgrade lifts. You have to buy new tools. You have to buy supplies, what's called consumables. So, as I really want you to start thinking about an owner or manager, where does the pay that you're going to take home come from? How much is that? How much are you assuming you're going to take as a salary? Guess what? At the very beginning, it may be nothing, or very little, very much next to nothing, until the business grows. But there still has to be a difference between your salary, what you need to live, the same thing you would negotiate coming in the door, and what the business needs. By the way, I want to take a quick break from you as the owner. You guys are getting ready at some point. I know you're in all different paths of this. Some of you guys are going to be out within 1-2 months. Some of you guys, what could I say? You have months and months left to go. No matter what, once we come out of this pandemic, or whatever else is going on in life, shops are going to want to hire. I don't care if you're within your first class or your last class. Shops are hungry for guys who want to work. So, when you walk into a negotiation, and when you interview, that's what you're doing. You're negotiating. You're going to bring out everything that you bring to the table. Now, let's say the interview goes great and you get called back because they want to make you an offer. You need to know how much money you need to live. If you walk in to that last step of the negotiating process, putting the price on yourself, if you go into that last step of the process and you don't know the hard number, then you have no way of going back and forth with the service manager, the owner, or the foreman, or whoever's it, setting that salary with you. You have to be okay to tell a job, I need this dollar. Lower than that, I can't live. Now, I'm also a realist. You might be in a position now or later in your life where, you know what, they offer you less than what you need to live, but right now you got nothing. And something's better than nothing. Absolutely. But then you have to know in your head that that's the calculated gamble you took. You're going to go in there, and your hope is going to be that after 3 months, 6 months, a year, you can prove that you have the technical abilities, mean your productivity's up, you're getting training, you're getting more credentials, and the soft skills. What are the soft skills? And these are the things, now we're kind of going back to you thinking as an owner or manager. Soft skills are going to be knowing how to speak to people professionally, even when they lose their cool with you. You don't show up on time, you're early. Because early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. You're organized, you're ready to work, you're ready to document things. You look the part. You come in every day looking like you're proud to be a tech, proud to do the job you're doing. You don't look like you just rolled out of bed and, hey, this is what you're doing so somebody pays you. You're doing that so that you, or if you're the owner or the manager, you want your techs doing that. Now they're going to come to you just like you ought to go to your manager to negotiate a better salary, because if they have the technical part and the soft skills, technical skill, soft skill, if they're able to put both of those together, then they're a winning package. You have an employee you want to keep. So that employee, if that's you, should be negotiating to get a better salary after they prove it. That's another thing to keep in mind. As a manager or an owner, you shouldn't be ready to give the farm away. You don't offer somebody $20 an hour simply because, they sound like they might be great. An interview ought to be somebody's best show. And I don't know about you guys, but I know I've had friends. They could put on a great show, but the minute you get to know the real them behind it, there's not a lot of substance. So you need time to see if the person in front of you has substance. Likewise, if you're the employee, you have to understand every day you have to come in proving that you have that substance. Because what that manager or owner is looking for is that you are consistently having that substance. If somebody's a B-level tech and that's all they're at right now, they're not an A-level, I'm okay with that. I may need a B-level tech, but I need them to be a B-level tech on their game every day. Now I'm human. I get it. They're human. Every day might mean 8 out of 10 days. But I need them here. I need them doing what they need to do. You know, if you're late every day or you're calling out once a week, I don't need you. You didn't make me any money. That's a soft skill problem. Reliability. If you're here every day and you're supposed to be a B-Tech and that's what you sold me, that you have that technical ability, but you can't even meet break-even productivity, 40 hours turns for 40 hours worked, I'm going to get to a point where I don't need you. Because you're not making a return on the investment. And that's where this whole video is getting to. I need you individually, who are watching this video, to think about what is the return on the investment that you want. If you're building your shop, and that's what we're going to talk about today, really start getting into. You're building your shop. But before we ever lay down a blueprint of what we want, before we ever start looking for a location, before we ever decide if it's going to be an LLC or a sole proprietorship, which is all stuff we're going to go over this week, what I need you to think about is, what type of an investment are you looking for in your people? What type of salary are you going to be willing to pay? Are you going to do some of the work if it's your shop? Let's pretend maybe you don't want to own a shop. Maybe you want to manage it for somebody else, and that's okay. I have no desire to own my own shop. I don't want all of those headaches. That's me. But I have no problem managing it for somebody. Because at least when I manage it, I know my day off is my day off. If I'm the owner, I never have a day off. Really. I might take a day and try to disappear or try to relax a little bit or do stuff at home. But I never really get a day off because that business is my baby. It's as much one of my kids as my kids. So I need you to think about, do you want to manage or do you want to own? And what type of investment do you want to put out? What soft skills do you want in your business? And when you start hiring people, what technical skills and technical level do you want? That's going to dictate the salaries. Understand your A-level techs, you're talking in the $30 an hour ballpark. B-level tech, probably in the $20 an hour ballpark. CD is going to be anywhere from $7.50 an hour to maybe $12.15 an hour, somewhere in there. Okay, that gives you kind of a rough guide. How many techs do you think you're going to have, or would like to have, and what do you want their skills to be? In an ideal world, you don't want to hire people with the same skills as you. You don't want to hire people like you. You don't get any value from that. And we'll ask why. So today, here's my goal for you. Make a list. Okay? Start pinpointing what you want your techs, your service writer, your managers to be. If you're going to manage an institution, you don't have to think too much about cost, but think what you mainly want your techs to have. For right now, you could think about salary. We'll come back to that. But I really want you to focus on soft skills and technical skills. What will you look for? And once you know what you're going to look for, that's going to determine what you're going to ask about in an interview. And by the way, what will you ask about in an interview? That's the thought I'm going to leave you with. We're going to jump into that tomorrow.